You thought you had seen the worst of perfume bottles? Well, buckle up, because I assure you hadn't seen yet. Perfume bottles went from being the most broken weapon category in the game due to a bug with one of its Ashes of War to being absolute dog water at everything. However, this is Elden Ring we're talking about, so of course they forgot something. And that little something they forgot is not so little.
Oh look, you've been impaled.
Out of all the perfume bottles in the game, only one of them is a special kind of weapon, the Deadly Poison Perfume Bottle. Being a somber weapon, you can't infuse it with Ashes of War as it has its own unique skill called Deadly Poison Spray. By itself, the skill is, well, extremely underwhelming, as the only thing it does is poison you.
And other enemies, not just you. But yeah, it's still very poopy.
With its only functionality being triggering the buffs from the items that benefit from poison being procced in the vicinity. However, just like you saw in the clip in the beginning, that's not the end of the jest. Eclipse Shotel is a curved sword from the base game that has been very infamous over the course of its lifespan. In case you're wondering why, let me start by saying that Deathblight is a special status effect in Elden Ring that will afflict the poor sucker who gets it with instant death. As instant death is obviously super strong, and taking into account that FromSoft's repulsive netcode will inflict you with status effects during dodging animations, the sources of Deathblight available to the player character are extremely scarce, and for a good reason. This has prompted gamers to be absolute sentient tumors.
Holy sh**, I'm gonna be a tumor today.
And find ways of applying Deathblight to other players with the least effort required. Why is this related to the Eclipse Shotel? Because it's the only weapon in the game that can inflict Deathblight on hit when activating its special skill called Death Flare. And this little has been the evil mastermind behind such wonderfully repugnant glitches, such as the IGN Deathblight glitch. And more recently, the Nanaya's Torch Deathblight glitch. As you've probably guessed by now because you're oh so smart, my little pina colada, Death Flare is being used for smelly mischief once again in conjunction with the Deadly Poison Perfume Bottle in something we like to call the Redditor Spark Cloud of Death. Basically, the way this works is as such. You use the Deadly Poison Spray skill, and then you activate Death Flare. If done correctly, you will see that not only will the fart cloud inflict poison on you, it will also inflict Deathblight. But hold on, Ranni. I hear you say, how come in this clip everyone is getting impaled in the ass? Well, glad you asked. You see, if you hold the Eclipse Shotel in your right hand only with one hand, the only sucker who's going to get inflicted with space cancer is you. But if you hold with two hands, for some reason, the methane gas singularity will inject itself into everyone's nostrils.
This is disgusting. This is awful in every way.
And no, it does not affect friendly players.
Yeah, why?
But it would be fun if it did. In short, correctly performing this glitch will spawn an area of effect, Deathblight Cloud, that builds up extremely fast. Now here comes the dreaded question. Is this glitch broken? We honestly consider after extensive testing that no, it's not broken.
What?
Hold on, before you press that dislike button, let us explain.
First of all, making a build around this glitch is very awkward. Since the Eclipse Shotel has very high dexterity and faith requirements, and the Deadly Poison Perfume Bottles have a somewhat high arcane requirements, you're pretty much forced to make a faith build if you want to make the most of the stats you invested to barely be able to use the weapons.
Ah!
You could go for a dexterity build too, but that would be even more detrimental, as you'd have 30 points of faith just to be able to use the Eclipse Shotel, and 30 faith is not nearly enough to have efficient tools at your disposal. So, by committing to the glitch, you're also committing to a faith build, and from our point of view, limitation of options never tends to be a good thing. Second, we believe that this glitch is broken in the same way that high preparation relying one-shot builds are broken. It can one-shot you, yes. But you will only fall for it if your IQ is in the single digits. Even if the enemy is not aware of the gimmick, standing inside the poison mist will not particularly be appealing to most of them. Sure, some enemies will ignore the poison mist and continue monkey mashing in your general direction. But in a 1 versus 1 scenario, it's not very likely that you'll get anyone with it. Most of the time. Invasions are the scenario where the glitch shines the most as always. Chaotic and frenetic, invasions make the perfect ambience for gamers to disregard everything but the evil bad red man trying to interrupt their precious jolly cooperation. And that's when they get their urethra impaled. Needless to say, if your enemy is aware of the gimmick, better start forgetting about it. You're not going to get them. Now, if you want to try the Redditor Fart Cloud of Death yourself, as you most likely do, here's a nice build you can try. We're going to get the minimal requirements for Dexterity and Arcane and combine it with 60 Vigor, 28 Endurance, 20 Strength, and 61 Faith. You can, of course, change this a bit to your liking and sacrifice some Strength points, but this is approximately the most efficient distribution for using other weapons too. For Talismans, the Prince of Death Cyst will prevent you from instantly death-blighting yourself by accident, and the Crimson Sea Talisman +1 will give more value to your healing flasks. You want to use heavy armor with good stats to get as much damage absorption as possible, as defense is key. Why is it key? Because we're going to mix our Flask of Wondrous Physic with the Leaden Hard tier to get infinite poise for 10 seconds, and the Crimson Whirl Bubble tier to absorb elemental damage. The reason for this is that we're going to drink the flask, stand in the middle of the war zone, and cast all of our stuff without getting interrupted. Hopefully without dying as well. Speaking of casting stuff, the most efficient distribution of equipment is the following. The Eclipse Shotel in your left hand, and the perfume bottle in your right hand. Two-hand the Eclipse Shotel, cast Death Flare. One-hand the Shotel. Get near your targets, cast the Poison Spray Mist, and then two-hand the Shotel. If you perform the whole song and dance correctly, you will see the tree of your efforts literally grow into your enemy's butthole.
Disgusting.
Not as disgusting as we skipping mystery thingy the last time. Sorry, I was busy protesting against the evil war crime perpetrator who created this horrendous thing. But anyway, the mystery thingy of our last video was Rolana's twin blades. Big congrats to the little oil lanterns who answered correctly. Here's our new mystery thingy for today. And if you excuse me, I need to keep protesting. Bye.